Hi, hello everyone. I am Dr.Visweswaraiah, Assistant Professor of English, working in Government First Aid College, Konigal, which is affiliated to Tumkur University, Karnataka. Dear viewers and my dear students, this session is about Jonathan Swift's Gulliver Travels, Part 1, The Voyage to Lilliput, Chapter 2, Summary. Okay, in the previous video of mine was about the Chapter 1 summary. Now it is Chapter 2 summary and its analysis. Okay, so as we know that in the first chapter, Lemuel Gulliver, who reached the shore and met or he encounters Lilliputian kingdom. There Lilliputians showed him mercy and gave him food, and carried they carry the complete carry Gulliver to the capital city, and and there he tied to the temple, so that one of the legs tied to the temple, so that he can only move semicircle. That was that is how Gulliver started his in the chapter 1 journey. Okay, look at this, dear viewers. Let us have some slides on the screen so that you can able to follow the story and analysis of chapter 2 of Gulliver Travels, Voyage to Lilliput. Okay, please. Yeah, sorry, yeah, it's right. Okay, we should just see that here. Yeah, this is topic to just mention it. Jonathan Swift's Gulliver Travels, Part 1, The Voyage to Lilliput, Chapter 2 summary. Okay, look at that. Chapter 2 summary begins like this. Once the Lilliputians chain Gulliver to the building, he is finally allowed to stand up and view the entire countryside. That's all. Which he discovers his beautiful and rustic life, or rusticity of that beauty of that countryside. Look at that, how Gulliver finally allowed until then allowed to stand up, that's all, and he can view view the entire countryside, how does it look like, and other things. See, it is very surprised for Gulliver. What happened? The tallest trees means only 7 feet tall, and like small trees, the whole area, he just looks like looks him like a theater set, like a set, so much attracting, and looking at the town, looking at the countryside, all trees, looks beautiful to him. Gulliver meticulously describes his process of relieving himself, which initially involves walking inside the building to the edge of his chain. See, what happens to him, meticulously explains about how he a process of relieving himself, each and every stage Gulliver explains about his thinking about freedom, or thinking about when he will be released, or when he will be going to free from all these tyings. So what happened after that? First, padlock to the temple, and later on allowed him to stand up, and you can look at entire the countryside. And even after that, Gulliver meticulously, he describes that, and even he just walking inside the temple or building, and edge to the chain, and for little walk can be done inside the temple itself. Okay. Then after the first time, he makes sure to relieve himself in open air, and servants carry away his excrement in trolleys. I think it is very funny to just look into that. After the first time, he makes sure to relieve himself in open air, because the servants carry away his dung or excrement, his toilet carrying in a trolleys. It was very pathetic for the Lilliputians to maintain Gulliver. And it is important that here in this slide you can just see that the emperor the first visit Gulliver. The emperor visits on horseback from his tower. He was having his tower and horseback, and he just visits Gulliver. He orders his servants to give Gulliver food and drink, means showing mercy and showing concern about Gulliver. He orders his servants to just give Gulliver food and drink. The emperor is dressed. Look at the dress of the emperor. Okay, the emperor is dressed plainly and carries a sword to defend himself. That's all. Carrying a sword and plain dress. That's all. He and Gulliver converse, though they cannot understand each other. See, the emperor he comes and speaks to Gulliver, and even Gulliver also tries to speak, but both cannot understand each other. So Gulliver tries to speak every language he knows, but nothing works out. See, he tries to use many languages as he knows, because as a traveler he has some knowledge about language, but nothing is worked out here. So the emperor visits and makes Gulliver very happy. Okay, look at that. To continue with Gulliver with a group of soldiers now. After 2 hours, Gulliver is left with a group of soldiers guarding him. Look at because of emperor's order, Gulliver is looking after by the soldiers guarding him. Some of them disobeying orders try to shoot arrows at him. See, when Gulliver disobey, some soldiers they shoot arrows at him. As a punishment, the brigadier ties up 6 of these offenders and places them in Gulliver's hand. Even what happens in the town, if somebody makes a mistake or offenders, that soldiers were bringing those offenders and placing them in the hands of Gulliver and asking Gulliver to just give the punishment to the offenders there. Because Gulliver puts 5 of them into what Gulliver does. Gulliver puts 5 of them into his pocket and pretends that he is going to eat the sixth, but then cuts loose his ropes and sets him free. See what happens, there, he just puts his soldiers in his pocket, and he tries to eat the sixth one. So then, with the threat of that, they loses the rope and set him free. He does the same with the other 5, which pleases the court. But he pleases the court, and even they like Gulliver because his consents. So what happens? The villagers come to see Gulliver. Look at that. After 2 weeks, where Gulliver carries or were carried to the city or to the town. There, after 2 weeks, a bed is made for Gulliver. Finally, the bed, a bed is made. Look at that, how the bed consists of 600 small beds sewn together. Then news of his arrival also spreads throughout the kingdom, and curious people from the villages, they come to see him as a they were coming to see as a an alien has come from the other world, such a way that villagers come and just see him. Every morning Gulliver asks the emperor to set him free. See, because Gulliver requesting and is always requesting the emperor to ask him to set him free, but the emperor refuses always, saying that Gulliver must be patient. Means be patient, we will take decision. Such a way that emperor always sends this kind of message and doing this. So in overall, Gulliver is with this way of connecting to the little people, he is explaining this. Look at that headache to the government. See, what is the headache here? Headache is very important, that Gulliver is the headache to the government to maintain him, or it is very difficult to maintain him. See what happens. Look at on the screen or look at on the slide. Meanwhile, the government tries to decide what to do with him. Then frequent councils bring up various concerns, because each one saying different various concerns about that. So what they were saying, that he will break loose, for instance, and that he will eat enough to cause a famine. Oh my God! They were saying that if we just will break his break him loose, and for instance that he will eat enough to cause a famine. So much because it is a very little stored food is there in the kingdom. So if he set him free and he goes and eats of all, and it become because it may cause a famine. And some people or some they suggest that they they starve him or shoot him in the face to kill, because some people say that no, we need not to give food for him, let him starve, and otherwise we'll shoot him for dead. Look at like this. And some others even argue that doing so would leave them with a gained corpse and a large health risk, because the people, they, I know some very interestingly say that, yeah, let us, okay, we agree that we'll put him to death, but what happens to his corpse? Corpse, the dead body, it is very difficult to maintain the dead body, and so it may risk for the health. So many things have come up for the government to just about Gulliver's freedom, or to give him, set him free. Look at that, how it is addicted to the government. So in the same way, look at that, it continues to the emperor's kindness here. It shows that out of all the complaints from the people or from the government officials, officers who witnessed Gulliver's merciful treatment of the 6 offending soldiers report to the council. So even he was so kind about, he's so kind about for soldiers. The emperor and his court decide to respond with kindness. Okay, look at that, because the government decided to decided and sent the soldiers for guard him. But here emperor and his court decides to respond with kindness. They arrange to deliver a large amount of food and Gulliver every morning. Look at that, every morning, of giving him food, supplying him with the servants to guard on him. Okay, so much concern shown on the emperor, on Gulliver by the emperors. That is the kindness of emperor. Next, emperor's order to ensure weapons. Okay, hire tailors to make him clothing. See, tailors came and made him to have a dress, clothing, and offer teachers to instruct him in their language. The emperor also orders him to be searched to ensure that he does not have any weapons, because it is very important. The order has passed for not to have any weapons with Gulliver. Okay, that is a strict order from the government and from the emperor. Gulliver agrees to this research, and he just simply keep quiet, and the Lilliputians take an account of his possessions. Okay, in the process, all his weapons are taken away, and now taken away, and he'll be just with how he was with this one. And we'll see that what happens here in the analysis. Look at that, Gulliver tends to be very sympathetic in his descriptions of the cultures he visits. In the chapter 2, we just see that how Gulliver tends to be very sympathetic in his descriptions of the cultures he visits, never criticizing them or finding any funny in them, or no matter how absurd certain customs seem to us. Indirectly he accepts and he used to involve in their lifestyle. Gulliver doesn't point out any similarities between the ridiculous practices he observes there in his travel and the ridiculous customs of Europe. He never compares anything such a way. That is very important to focus, that how Jonathan Swift here gently maintains such kind of things. Swift leaves us to infer all the satire based on the differences between how things appear to us and how they appear to Gulliver. Look at that. Yet the two perspectives are there. Gulliver on the point of Gulliver's view on Lilliputians, and the reader's view on both Lilliputians and on Gulliver. Beautiful. To continue with, the differences in size between Gulliver and the Lilliputians help to emphasize the importance of physical power, and a theme that recurs throughout the novel. That is how physical power is exaggerated here, showing Gulliver's as a normal creature, and a human creature in a normal, and Lilliputians. Over time, Gulliver begins to earn the Lilliputians' trust. That is very important. Look at that here. Gulliver, he involves in them, and he just gains trust of their trust of them. But it is clearly unnecessary. But for all their threats, and Gulliver could crush the Lilliputians by simply walking carelessly. He could crush them by walking, but it is not such a way. This is very important to analyze and to know that how the humor comes from the Lilliputians' view of situation. Despite the evidence before their eyes, they never realize their own insignificance. Okay, they keep Gulliver tied up, believing that they can control him, while in truth he could destroy them effortlessly. See, look at how it is beautiful. Look at that, Gulliver tied up, believing that they can control him. And on the other side, while in truth is that he could destroy them effortlessly. In this way, Swift satirizes humanity's pretensions to power and significance. Look at that, how power and significance pretends in humanity. That is the satire of Swift in this Gulliver Travels. Okay, that is about this. So, like this, the chapter 2 ends, and chapter 2 comes to an end by how Gulliver is now provided with facilities to look his health, and even the food was provided, and food is provided, and even the clothing is provided, and even so the concern about him, the government, though very difficult for the government to look after him, but is the emperors advise him, and giving food, clothing, in time with the time, giving him in time, and even the order is passed to search any weapons if he possesses. That possession is forfeited by the government. So like this, how Gulliver is in the second chapter. So dear viewers, this is about the chapter 2 chapter 2 summary and analysis. Thank you so much. I think you understood, and let us in the next video we will see that the chapter 2, its summary, chapter 3 and summary and analysis of it. Okay, thank you for viewing or watching this channel. Thank you so much.